Who that? It's your favorite demon, Rainhet. Congratulations on overcoming your first hurdle, part 1. Only about half of those who watch part 1 will ever make it to part 2, so congrats. Unfortunately for you, your reward is watching a lovely title sequence again. How to make a head in Blender. I like working in a way that typically some people might advise against. I love subdivision modifiers, but obviously if you dropped on your head as a baby, you might find yourself slipping into the millions in regards to your poly count when using them. Bear in mind, when I talk about poly count, I'm talking about the number of triangles. If you just click show overlays and then statistics, you can keep track of your numbers from there. I genuinely think Vrchat's system for rating models, in regards to poly count at least, is pretty generous and fair. For PC limits, 32,000 is rated as excellent, 70,000 is rated as good, and above 70,000 polygons, aka triangles, is rated anywhere from medium to very poor. It's usually not just the poly count alone that determines how frame rate safe your model is, but it's still something to keep in mind. If you're going over the 100k mark and you don't have a detailed avatars with toggleable clothing, spawnable items, floor-length hair, and one of those sussy gremlin creatures doing backflips behind you, I will personally come to your house, rip your PC out of the wall, and feed it to you. You have no business going over 100k with your 3-foot gamer girl in a t-shirt and short shorts. Where are these polygons going? Are you modelling her internal organs? I'd think not. There's no excuse really. Well, except hyperrealism, but we're not doing that today. Hello and welcome to Blender. I actually broke my phone the day after. Was it the day after? No, I think it was the same day I posted that last video. So it's taken me this long to get a new phone and record a new video. Even though I've had this phone for a few days now. Let's get along, shall we? Making a head today. We're starting with my favourite shape, the cube. So let's add one of those. Add mesh cube. We'll put that at 0, 0, 0. And you know, 0.5 is not a bad size, so we'll just first add my favorite modifier, subdivision subsurface, put levels viewport, this value up here to 2, and apply. We'll also add a mirror modifier to speed things up. Turn on clipping, edit mode, AG, Z. S, A is to select all, remember, GZ. That's probably appropriate, and this as well for now. Let's name this head, H-E-A-D, and with your body, name it body. I don't think I mentioned that last episode. Remember to save, otherwise I will show up at your house. Shade this as smooth, so object, shade smooth. We'll add a subdiv again, because you know, I want this model to be a bit on the aesthetically pleasing side. Let's turn off optimal display. Edit mode. Oh right. Here, almost forgot to delete this half of the model. Let's grab this half, X, delete vertices. There we go. You know, let's put this on cage as well by clicking this button here. Now we can start making the face facey. Grab this button here, turn on proportional editing, this button up here, G, and make sure your brush is the correct size, as you can see up there. Make sure it's correct. And let's start shaping this to be more appropriate. G, G, G. Now of course I want the nose to come out, but first let's see what we can do about the head. This is going to be a little bit tricky, since I want this line here to be able to go out here. Basically I want to create a chin shape. Well, something has to join here for a start. So let's see what we can do. Let's bring this back about there. I'm gonna just hit V. Oh, also turn on your X-ray up here, toggle X-ray so you can see through. I'm just gonna hit V for now. Oops, oopsie daisy. G, try to keep this jaw shape intact. And these can go back a little bit. E, make this into face with F. G, E. See how far I can go with this part of the face. Gonna hit V, bring this down. V as well? Sure. Surgically making a new chin. This is purely for aesthetic reasons. Now this should be able to come out here. Shift click at last. Let's make these into faces. F, this one too. Oh, actually, let's not merge that there. Let's merge this here at last. At last. The way this can kind of come down and around. Might need to redress the shape here. Okay. Grab that. Oops, where are these lines going? Right. X, dissolve edges. Let's turn this into a better shape. Okay. Now we can turn these into quads. Right, didn't go all the way through. It's a little confusing working these. Let me turn off subdiv for a second. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Just for a moment while I figure out where these lines are. Okay, okay. Merge those together. Okay. Turn back on subdiv. Okay, now we're getting a rounded shape underneath the chin. I hope you were able to follow that. 3. These, we're going to shrink them with S, break them up here. See if we can keep this rounded chin shape that we just made. Because why not? Why not have a nicely shaped chin? See the inside a bit better. E, make a face here. I hope that's not a terrible place to put the face. E, make those kiss in the center, at last, and a face here. Okay. So we've now got this bottom chin area. find it useful. Let's go to the front view. Oh boy. GX. I want to just edit it in the X direction. So now this bottom area is stretching out. I don't think a smooth brush would hurt at this point, so let's just pop into sculpting mode over here. When I just saved, if you want to do that as well. Where is the smooth brush? Make sure your strength isn't too high. We just want to soften some of these. Edit mode. Try again with the proportional editing brush. Bring this out. Bring this out. I think not a bad time to see how this reference looks. Let's turn that off for a moment. Right. If you don't have this reference, don't worry. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be roughly the same shape. Roughly. I'm gonna see if I can grab the back. G. Make this into slightly nice shape. You know what? You should always check your 3/4 view. Let's turn that off for a moment. Oops. This does kind of stick out at a weird place at the side of the head. I'd rather this area here stick out a bit more. But before we worry about the face shape, let's try to get this nose. Control R, drag it across, just because it's a lot easier. Bring this down a little bit. Numpad 3, and let's turn that off. Alt V, make sure your mouse is above the nose. Alt V, so you can drag it up. This will be the underneath of the nose. You can see the shape here. G, bring that out. The eyes need some attention. What I like to do is, let's bring this down. Nicer shape, I'd hope. And we're going to round this out a bit. Going to make the famous superhero mask shape. Feel this is a decent place at the nose. And we'll grab the spots. 1, 2, 3. Check the side view for a moment. I to inset. Now with this shape, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's select it with the edge select tool, so we don't have to select the middle ones. And Shift E. This is just so it's a lot easier to work with, especially after editing the middle area. So we'll just hit G and we'll try to follow the eye shape a bit. So this would be a perfect time to add a loop cut. Right here, Control R, right through the center. It gives the eye more points so we can play with. Grab this point here. Just want it spread around quite evenly, don't bunch places too much. That's about right. And we also want mouth stuff. This is where this is gonna get a little weird. Right. We want the mouth area to start around here, so we I to inset. Let's press B so it starts in the middle. Right, right, right. SZ, scale in the Z direction. S, just scale it generally. G. I like passing loops over the nose when it comes to the mouse, so let's do a Control R again. But this one is going to go a bit over. Let's grab our K tool. Going to start here, go across, go down all the way to this point here. It's slightly off because of the subdivision, but it's fine. Let's try to make this a bit more understandable. Okay, passing this over the nose. X, dissolve edges for now. Let's hand that off, might be easier to grab things. This needs to go into this. They need to kiss. So let's do this as a start, and also wherever this point is. Okay. X, dissolve edges. Now I have a loop going across the nose. Just how I like doing things personally. Also adds more shape to the nose. Now I have this bit of a mess. We'll do this to the mouth as well. Oh, line select. Shift E. Going to be a loop going through there in just a moment. Let's merge these and decide if we want that there or not. At last. At last. Let's dissolve this for now. Dissolve edges. Just so the shape makes a bit more sense. And let's delete this for now. Delete faces, and for now we'll delete this too. Delete faces. I do like this line here, so I'm gonna add it back. Looks like we have a wild Engon. There's going to be a loop cut around here for the corner of the mouth. That's better. What happened before? And now these are even on the top and the bottom. This is useful to have. G. For now, let's just try to get this face less creepy looking. GY. Really, the most outward part should be the middle, so just keep that in mind. This shouldn't really be a flat circle on the face. Oops. GY. G. Do a line here. K. Oop, where is that? Here? Right, so then we can X dissolve that and X. Oh no. Oops, wrong one. Oh no. Control. Deselect that. X dissolve. At last. Oh, that was quick. hide the body for a moment. Can probably figure something out. X dissolve edges. I know what to do with this. G, and then we can just cut right here. Nice. You might be able to see how this kind of acts as a jawline. A lot of the back is going to be covered by hair as well, so there's no point having a lot of topology there. Let's do this, Control R. Can sort out the mouse situation. GY. RZ. Right, let's turn that on so we can see what we're looking at. Tricky keeping track of this jaw shape that I put so much time into making. To only have this square-chinned child. I guess that's what happens when you make something so round. See if there's a happy medium. Something like that, I guess. Well, the jaw is still there, just not how I drew it. It's fine though. Control save. Not terrible. Not terrible. Not as planned, but not terrible. What else do we need to do for this? File, save. Let's take a look at different heads. I feel like this should have been early on in the video. These are all sorts of different type of heads, and there's something they all have in common. Let's take a close look at a more realistic proportioned head. Remember this superhero mask I was mentioning early on? We also have a loop that goes over the nose. It's just something I like doing, and loops that go around the mouth. This also helps with transforming things around. This moves a lot more natural than... Let's just do a random example. Let's grab a cube. Right, imagine having a mouse like this, and you want to make it round. This is what you'll have to be working with. Oh, let's turn on clipping. Grab this, and it's not looking too bad. But now you have to push this so far out just to get a round shape, and it still wants to point. It's so much more difficult working with this than, say, for example, this. This is how we get a round shape with this. We move these down, and then this corner, we just bring it in. Round, easy. It's not forcibly pointy because of the shapes made here. And it also will deform a lot nicer. When this is textured, it'll look way nicer, this painted, compared to this mess. Let's revert, actually. I don't want to deal with the work that I've done. Right, so the more realistic head is along these lines. I don't typically connect the ears. This one has a chin too. So we started here, connect these down here. This stopped about here, and then these parts went underneath the chin area, like we did for the other model. This is basically the same as that. It even has the same poly count except one thing. This one line here. This one line here is the only difference between this and this. They're different shapes, of course, but that one line there is just to give the cheeks more roundness compared to this. And then this is the same thing with the subdivision modifier, you know, except if we go into edit mode, you'll see that there are some, you know, things that I did to make it more anime-esque. Pointing the nose, the chin. I even did this line here. These eyes wouldn't be made like that, but you know. Go back to object mode. We have even smaller little face, which has the same style. We have the superhero mask, the loops around here, the under chin area. But I do believe there is a bigger difference between these two, apart from the obvious shape difference. I couldn't tell you what it is exactly. Oh, here we go. Do you see how this has a line across there? Because this was so squished down, I must have gotten rid of it and turned it into something else. So instead of the corners being around the head, they start at the eye. So you can see, just minor edits to accommodate for the different face shapes. The different face shapes. Here we have a more furry-esque model with a snout. Now the thing about the snout is there's a lot of things that is still repeated. So we have, if we look from the front view, we'll see that there are some loops kind of going round, but it's not as serious this time. The main loop is this one here. Let me show you in edit mode. We'll grab this. This is the main loop to help keep things, but because the jaw will be moving in a hinge shape so much, it's not so important to force loops around, you know, around here and around here and around here. It's just there needs to be more effort put into bringing this mouth outwards. So it's basically just this, but this part here has been extended. You can see this part stops here, that stops there. That's only one segment and this is two. So if I just grab, let's go to object mode. We'll grab this, edit mode. Right, let's turn this into a snout. Oops, and not select that. E, and bam. The snout has already begun. There's a wow. There's a lot more work that has to go into it than just extruding it, but this had not too terrible. Of course, it is on the head. Now this is what you can do if you don't want to make something super high poly. This is tiny. This is absolutely tiny. If we go to edit mode, you can see, we turn this on. Let's do this. This is all one piece. Let's turn off the mirror for a second. This is all one piece. You don't need to make the entire head. And these are all connected. And this eye is completely separate from the head. You don't have to have an eye in your face. You don't even have to have a mouth. This can be animated with shape keys just like any other. So just another example of a head. Right. I've decided to do things a little differently. These files, I'm actually going to put them on Patreon too. So this one with the heads, the last one with the bodies, if I can find it. This one, also on Patreon. They're on Patreon right now, actually. Right. Since the front isn't too half bad, she said, we're not going to put actual nostrils in there, are we? Are we? I can definitely show you how I do it. I'm not sure if I want to do it though. It might look a little odd. So how I usually do nostrils is just put an eye there. I to insert, and B so it doesn't start in the center. G. Scale in the Y direction. And extrude, intrude. Turn that on so you can see how far in it's going. That's what I would usually do. I mean, the nose is definitely very pointy. Right here, let's see what we can do about the shape, because it's a bit headachy. Right, so we have the bottom here, which we're not going to mess with, and then the side here, which we are going to mess with. So that connects there. Then we have this awful shape, which can only be fixed. Oh dear. Let's turn off this for a moment, because it's very difficult to see. That's not what I meant to do. There's a lot going on. Okay. The only way to fix that is with this shape here and this shape here, I believe. And let's turn that back on so you can see what's going on. Right, here we go. This shape here. This is the only way to round out the nostrils after adding them self edges. Now we have more topology to work with on the nose. Now after all that work, am I really going to get rid of it? No. No. Well, there's too much to sacrifice that I'm not prepared to do. Plus it's rounder now. G E. It's a very round nose. Let's look from the front. A bit wide. Let's turn on face select. Grab these. Oh no. Grab these. SX. Basically, I've just added an extra line there. So we've got quad, quad, quad. Loop this around the whole nose. So you don't need to add any more loops to the face unnecessarily. This is not necessary, by the way. You could have just left it at the stage before. This is just an additional thing if you wanted to add nostrils. You don't need to add nostrils. Now the inner part of the eye, we usually extrude it. Let's just do it in the Y direction for now. ES to scale. Let's grab these two and take off this crease right here. Mean crease down. Here's how I'm gonna do this. These edges, grab them, make a face. Grab these, make a face, grab these, make a face, Control R, I'm just going to join these together. M at center. Oh, didn't work. M at center. M at center. So one thing you can do, you can also grab these, click on this tool, it's called Smooth, which is a hit and miss really. GY. Let's smooth this too, why not? Not terrible. Control R. Scale that. Turn that off. S to scale. I want to make this as much space as possible inside. This is just so the pupils don't clip. And also, what I like to do is add a little edge to this. So I've just selected this eye area. I'm going to Alt V. Before I click, hit Y, and we're going to bring it back the tiniest bit. And you know what? Let's offset it to 2 so you can see the inside from the outside. I'm just grabbing G, moving it over a little bit. You can see the inner eyeline area. I like having that. You don't need to do that. I like doing it. Gonna grab these with my proportional and move it closer so it fits the ref a bit better. There we go. And you know what, so it looks better too. Let's hide that. Grab the edge, Control E, mark sharp. And I don't think that's doing anything. Okay. We'll do that later. We'll do that later. For now, let's try to get this mouth situation sorted. So, it's a bit closed. It's a bit closed. Not perfectly. Let's try to get it closed in a nice fashion. As in the lines kind of touching in a respectable way. G. Oh, let's turn that off. GX, GY, line these up, let's bring these forward, oops, GY, so that's a bit better. I still want it to match with the ref. Slight of a bit of a smug looking face. Okay. Like that. Save. Go and grab this edge. Alt. Click. E to extrude. Snap it in the y-axis. Now, one of the easiest things we can do is just hide this for a moment. We want to make sure we're selecting the right lip. So this is the top lip. This might even be better. If we just hide these. Hide. This is the top lip. And this is connected to this here. If I can actually select it. These are all connected. G, they're connected, right? Now we only want that last edge selected, so I'm going to just Control and deselect these with my lasso tool, and we're going to bring this up because it's the top lip, so G, Z, and we're going to bring this down, G, Z. If we look at it from the back view, we can start rounding things out a bit, just in the Z direction. GZ, GZ. That's going to be the inner side of the mouth. Now if we alt hide, we can keep going. So it might be easier to just do this SY to scale in the Y direction. EY. And let's select these, take the crease down, and turn these into faces. So we have these two, F, these two, F, and that's a try, so we'll put a line through here, Control R remember, and make an F face there. So bring these back a little bit, GY, simultaneously rounding stuff out. And this can be rounded out to SZ. Let's be careful about how big this is. Just pressing S to scale now. GZ. This will actually be seen. It will be shaded a different color because it's the inside of the mouth. We want the front bit to be as large as possible. The back, wow. Let's scale this without having it clip through, which it is at the moment, which we don't want. Let's rotate that RX, just until it doesn't clip anymore. Now this might be useful for rotating to RX. Scale GY. Hopefully this isn't too terrible. GZ, GX, GX, GX. Right, we'll leave it like that for now. Oops. For now, as I edit it slowly. Right, that's the inside of the mouth and the inside of the eyes. We do want these as big as possible. I'm trying to avoid clipping too. Jeez. Oh, another way to easily do this without messing stuff up. Let's just hide that. Turn on proportional editing. Remember, connected only. Just round this out. And proportional will help keep things smoother. Now, it is possible to make a model with eyeballs instead of this cavern area, and it would be more useful if you're working with something a bit more realistic, or you want something that reacts to light better, I guess. But there are also benefits to having it like this. Scale. We don't want it to pop out the sides. Alt H. Alright. Head. Let's do this fix on this model since the sharpness isn't working too great. We'll hit A, edges. Oh wait, no, mesh, normals, reset vectors. Now these lines will show up. Control E to get rid of them, clear sharp, and we'll manually make our own. So we'll grab this. Actually, before we do that, let's just do this quick thing. Normals, average face area. Grab that, Control E, mark sharp. Grab this, Control E, mark sharp. C, yeah, Control E, mark sharp. And those are the main ones. Of course, you could attempt to mark the jawline sharp. Or even just, you know, crease it. There's no real point doing this. This is a round face. I guess this would be good for an Android, if you're making an android or something. Let's add pupils just so this doesn't look so intimidating. File, save, add, mesh, plane. We'll put that to x90. We'll put that to, let's do it 0.2. Could go even smaller, honestly. 0, 0. Enter edit mode. A, G, scale with S. GY. Let's turn this on. Scale. G. Scale. Let's go to object mode. Subdivision. We'll do that twice. And apply. Edit mode. Scale. SZ. Scale on the Z axis. Bring this up. Scale X a little bit. Right. GY. Put this in here. We want to rotate it so it follows the edge of the eye a little bit. But before we do that, let's bring this outwards with proportional editing on. So GY, we just want to concave it a bit. Give the illusion of an eyeball. Right, now select A and we'll rotate it in the Z axis. So it follows that. And might need to rotate in the X axis as well. G X S X. Now is that too close? A little bit RZ. And that's not too half bad. GY. The further in it goes, the more it'll look at you. It's kind of hard to explain. We'll add a mirror modifier as well. Object mode. Oh, let's shade it smooth. Object, shade, smooth. We have a head. And a chin area. We're just going to name this to pupils. This is what we're working with so far. I'll need to remember to put mouth stuff in it. We can actually, now that we have the head, actually edit the body a bit to match the reference a bit better. A lot of people connect their heads to their body, but I don't, because if I want to edit the face, I don't want it to break the model. GE. I don't want to make small edits to here to have an effect on the face, basically, when I have shape keys. Of course, if you're careful, that won't happen, but I might also decide that neck is too long. We'll see. We'll see, I'll think about it later. Well, thanks for watching the video. I hope you got as far as I did. Next time we'll make those hands. We'll make those hands. And slowly approach finishing this model. Remember to save, or I'll come to your house. Thanks for watching. Right, if you want to catch me live modeling or playing games or summoning demons or sacrifices or something, catch me on twitch.tv/Rainhet. You can also follow updates on Twitter, join the Discord, and make sure to subscribe, otherwise I'll kiss your mom. This series is brought to you by my Patreons, with special thanks to My Grey Clouds and Grey Skies, Eeyore HeeHaw, Pixel Pagos, Sowwatt, and Spud the Cat. See you in the next class. Farewell!